of the third world, remember the first world. You know, Zinjanthropus boise was long before Adam and Eve, and it's found in Africa. Lucy is found in Ethiopia, and it's 3.2 million years. You see, you want me to go along with a dialogue that suits you as a European Jew, but doesn't suit me as an African Jew. And you assume that my African Jewishness should supersede my Africanness. No way, Rabbi, because you want it both ways. You want to be a European Jew, benefiting from being a European, benefiting from being a Jew, and that I sat by and listened to it, and then call it anti-Semitic.
You may have difficulty, but the record will show that I sit here as an American Jew.
That's right.
That will be my
and
definition.
I sit here as an African Jew.
Did you know that the Ashkenazis have been trying to convert the original tribes of Israel to become a Jew? How do you tell a people that's of the bloodline of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob that they have to convert to something that they already are by lineage? The original inhabitants of ancient Israel were displaced and forced into exile according to the Bible. In Zephaniah chapter 3, verse 10, it says that the Israelites were scattered beyond the rivers of Ethiopia. And according to Joel chapter 3, verses 4 through 6, it says the children of Israel and Judah were sold into slavery to be removed far from their borders.
Blacks and whites who watch the show saying, so why stay? Why stay when you are called nigger every day? Why stay when you are denied your rights?
On the contrary, the more they humiliate me, the more they oppress me, the more I stick to my land, because this is my land. I'm so rooted, we are deeply rooted as Africans, as Palestinian Africans in this land, and we know pretty well that our ancestors, I'm talking about thousands and thousands of years, had been here in this country, but they were spread away, taken to Africa, from Africa to the United States. Our ancestors, I'm talking about thousands and thousands of years, had been here in this country, but they were spread away, taken to Africa, from Africa to the United States, 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 from Africa to the United States.
Now, while a good chunk of Israelites were scattered across the world, there are still remnants of Israelites in the land of Africa, as well as in Palestine, as you just witnessed. Unlike the diaspora, who was taken captive as slaves into the New World and had their identity stripped away from them, most of the Israelites who remained in Africa were able to preserve their heritage. So they fully know who they are, and apparently the other people who call themselves Jews, the Ashkenazi, are aware that these people know who they are. The only problem is they feel like they have the moral duty to convert these people to be a Jew, which makes no sense.
From Israel.
Okay.
So when they came in, they also asked questions about our culture, how we do our things and all that. They asked us. But what they are more interested in is assimilating us into the system.
Okay, and
is to get us into their way of life. In other words, they want us to be Jews like them. So what actually they want to teach us is about the history of the Jews, the Holocaust, their movements from Poland to Germany to Russia, and all those things. It's about their history.
Okay.
They want us to be like, they want us to be Jews.
So could I?
Ironically, there was never any Israelite tribe called Ashkenaz. The only mention of Ashkenaz in the Bible is the grandson of Japheth, the father of the European Gentiles. So why are the converts trying to convert the real Israelites?
Other groups that are considered lost tribes.
Correct. Lemba are fascinatingly unique because we could trace them directly to the oldest Jewish exile community in the world from Yemen. And the Yemenite Jewish community, when they came back to Israel, they had customs that were preserved for 2,000 years uninterrupted. Even some of their pronunciation of Hebrew letters were unique as far as how the Ashkenazim and Sephardim pronounced their letters, but no one challenged them saying it's unauthentic. It was as authentic it can get. And so when you see the Lemba all the way down to the bottom of Africa, tracing their roots to the Yemenite Jewish community, building in the same structures and having certain traditions that are the same, and like no one else in South Africa, it shows you the far-reaching scale of these Israelite customs and traditions. And not to mention, obviously, we speak about the genetic Kohen phenomenon amongst the Lemba people, that a large percentage of them have a genetic marker to be from the Kohanim, from the priests of Israel.
Tell us more about your...
So as you can see, the Israelite tribes in Africa, such as the Lemba tribe, have the DNA that traces directly back to Aaron, the Levi priest of Israel. So why are they trying to convert these people to Judaism? All this does is expose what they truly are about. They want to gatekeep what it means to be a Jew. They want to control the narrative as being the chosen people of the Most High, which they do not have the DNA to claim that. They do not have the birthright to claim that they are the Jews of the Bible. So they know that if they can get the original people of Israel to convert to their religion of Judaism, that will bring validation to themselves.
Or backwards. Isn't it strange that just yesterday that the Jews in America found out that they're black Jews? Isn't it strange also that you don't consider us Jews, because when we go to Israel, you're still demanding that we must, quote unquote, reconvert. Who said we converted in the first place? Who said, what right have European Jews, who don't belong there either, have a right to tell us and to carry us through a shameful...
I'm sorry, European Jews who what?
No,
Who don't have
any more than we do. Because the Russian Jews come there, many of them not circumcised, many of them never have a bar mitzvah, and we had to go, nobody asked them to reconvert. We had to go there, and a fast called circumcision, and I wanted to use the Hebrew word, but at the moment. And we're supposed to go through all that. Next thing, Rabbi, how come my uncle, Tamrat Emanuel, came here in 1935 to raise money when Italy invaded Ethiopia? We were 5 million. When we left, we were 50,000. The Jewish community in America refused, denied that we existed. Up to now in Israel, you have two grand rabbis at least, the Sephardic grand rabbi and the Ashkenazi grand rabbi, the European grand rabbi, that refused to recognize that we're even Jews. Only the Sephardic grand rabbi started with Obadiah Yosef when he was the chief rabbi. Now let's go back. So that it's a farce about Israel telling us to come there for whatever the reason. In that, Israel to this day, from 1947, have in the Knesset a petition for the acceptance of Jews from Ethiopia, the right to return. To this day, it has not been approved. It has still been tabled every year. Now,
do Black Lives Matter in Israel? If you ask some of the Ethiopian Jews who are citizens of the state, it doesn't feel that way. They've taken to the streets over the past several weeks to protest police brutality and racism in Israeli society. And this shouldn't be confused with the recent protests of African migrants who aren't Jewish and are seeking asylum. But back to the Ethiopians. These waves of protests were ignited in April after a video went viral of police violently beating an Israeli soldier of Ethiopian descent. And as Israel-based journalist and filmmaker David Sheen told me, that struck a chord with many.
Pretty much every single Ethiopian Jewish man in this country can speak to that experience. Either he's experienced it personally, or his brother, or his uncle, or his friends have been the victims of police brutality.
I received a letter of deportation with my name on it, as well as all of my children's names. At that time, we were given 60 days, and we were told we would be deported from the land of Israel.
Tovit and her family are some of 51 Black Hebrew Israelites slapped with deportation orders in April. Now, they're fighting to stay in Israel. Black Hebrew Israelites are a community of Black Americans who believe that the West Africans brought over to the Americas during the transatlantic slave trade had belonged to one of the lost tribes of Israel, and that their mission is to one day return to the land they say they were expelled from.
We wanted to find out where our roots lie, and our roots lie here. And our ancestral homeland we consider to be here, literally here in southern Judea. So that's how we identify as Jewish, because we're Judeans. We live here, and we say that that's our tribal affiliation.
Around the early 1970s.
לא הכל כושים מברכים, אלא צריך שיהיה כושי שאבא שלו ואימא שלו לבנים. איפה אתה תדע? אם אתה יודע, בפעם שאתה יודע, ואתה יצא להם בן קוף, יצא להם בן ככה.
Israel is with the young generation of the Black community. Black Lives Matter starts there.
So just to give a little bit of context to what you're hearing, you're listening to Judith Varney Shore, an Israeli consul general in Atlanta. And she says, quote, the major problem with Israel is the young generation of the Black community.
I was really frustrated as a Black person that we weren't included more in the Bible, right? And so I felt very good when I found that some of the books of the Bible that were banned because they had Black guys in them.
Really? What books of the Bible? This is the New Testament? Is this when they were
You've heard the book
Constantine?
You've heard about the book of Enoch, right?
Yes.
Right. So, if you know that book, it says that Noah was an albino.
I always wondered about, if human beings